Dark clouds loom over the ridge, casting long, restless shadows across the empty fields. The wind howls through the trees, carrying whispers of fear and loss. Somewhere in the distance, the faint sound of hooves pounding the earth grows closer, faster, urgent. A lonely candle flickers in a dimly lit house, its flame trembling like a heartbeat in the dark. Something has gone terribly wrong. The ridge, once calm and familiar, now holds secrets that threaten everyone who calls it home. Every door, every shadow, every silence could hide the truth. And danger waits where least expected. Episode 1 ended with the ridge in chaos. Smoke curled from the farmlands where an unexpected fire broke out, leaving families scrambling for answers. Faceless hands hurriedly packed belongings, and horses bolted down muddy paths as tension gripped the air. The characters we thought were safe friends, neighbors, allies, were tested in ways that left no one untouched. In the dark corners of the village, whispers of betrayal and hidden secrets began to spread, each one heavier than the last. Shadows moved silently in homes and barns, showing the unease that even familiar walls could not hide. A letter torn in haste, a silenced argument behind closed doors. A sudden departure without explanational hinted at the deeper struggles within the ridge, while some faces were spared from the chaos. The unseen hands of fate moved relentlessly, weaving uncertainty and doubt into every part of life here. Moments of love and loyalty were pushed to the edge, and decisions made under pressure left lasting cracks in relationships. From the quiet forest paths to the ridge's edge, nothing remained untouched by the ripple of the tragedy that had begun. Through it all, the ridge stood silent, almost watching, as if aware that this was just the beginning. The fire that destroyed part of the field seemed small compared to the emotional inferno now burning inside each character. Every creaking floorboard, every rustling curtain, every fleeting shadow in the night reminded those who lived here that danger was no longer a distant idea, was now close, intimate, and unavoidable. Even in moments of calm, unease lingered. A table set for dinner held one less plate than expected. A child's toy lay abandoned in the mud. Simple gestures, small omissions, became heavy with meaning. The audience, even without seeing faces, could feel the tension, the anxiety, and the growing sense that the ridge would never be the same again. What began as minor disruptions grew into fears and suspicions that no one could ignore. The ridge, once a place of ordinary routines and shared laughter, now pulsed with uncertainty. Each sound, the creak of a door, the distant bark of a dog. The faint rustle of leaves hinted that the next tragedy could strike at any moment. In this opening section of episode 2, viewers are reminded of the fragile balance between trust and suspicion, love and betrayal, safety and danger. Every element builds anticipation, preparing the audience for a story that will test loyalty, courage, and survival in ways that cannot yet be fully understood. The ridge awakens not with the calm of morning, but with a restless unease that hangs over every tree and field. Mist curls low across the paths, swallowing the familiar shapes of barns, fences, and silent horses. The air feels heavy, as if the ridge itself is holding its breath, waiting for the next shock. Shadows stretch longer than usual, and every creaking signpost or snapping branch seems amplified, echoing in the quiet like a warning. Something unseen is moving among the familiar landscapes, and no one knows who or what to trust. Inside the houses, doors are bolted and candles burn late into the night. Faceless hands tremble as letters are unfolded and torn, revealing messages that could change everything. A knife glints briefly on the table, discarded after a heated argument, whose participants remain hidden, their faces unseen. In the forest beyond, hoofbeats echo intermittently, sometimes far, sometimes dangerously close, hinting at arrivals that bring fear, news, or both. The ridge is no longer safe. The calm of yesterday has vanished, leaving only uncertainty and the faint, lingering scent of smoke and betrayal. Even familiar places now feel alien. The old well by the edge of the woods seems deeper, darker, as if holding secrets it refuses to release. The path to the river, once a place of solace, now twists in the fog, hiding what may lie ahead. Every object, every gesture, even the smallest movements of the wind carries weight. Viewers are drawn into this world not by faces, but by tension, sound, and the unseen threats that hover around every corner. Hints of past mistakes and hidden grudges begin to surface. Faceless figures rush through the streets, clutching parcels, letters, or weapons. Their hurried movements suggesting fear and urgency. Doors slam, windows rattle, and yet the ridge's silence is broken not by sound, but by what is left unsaid. Trust becomes fragile. Alliances are questioned. The smallest detail, a shadow slipping past a window. A hand hesitating on a latch becomes a clue, a threat. A spark that could ignite the next wave of chaos. The tension builds like a storm about to break. As viewers follow the ridge through misted fields, flickering lanterns, and shadowed homes, the sense grows that nothing will remain hidden for long. Secrets are stirring, danger is moving closer, and the calm before the next tragedy is only a memory. Every shadow, every rustle, every unseen footstep whispers a single warning. The ridge is alive with suspense, and the coming episode will test the courage, loyalty, and hearts of all who dwell here. The ridge seems to breathe with a dark pulse. Each gust of wind stirring whispers from the trees as though the forest itself is conspiring. Mist clings to the earth like a shroud, blurring boundaries between safety and danger. Every footstep on the muddy path carries a weight of caution. Every flutter of leaves a hidden message. Faceless figures move hurriedly in the fog, their silhouettes fractured and distorted, leaving viewers unsure who is ally and who might harbor a secret too dangerous to reveal. A broken fence lies half buried in the damp earth, a quiet witness to a night that left more questions than answers. In the distance, a horse whinnies sharply, its cry cutting through the silence, stirring unease that ripples across the ridge. Inside a dimly lit cabin, the faint glow of a candle flickers across hands, trembling as they reach for a hidden object, a letter. A key, a weapon, something meant to protect or betray. Every creak of the floorboards sounds like a warning. Every shadow cast against the wall a potential threat. The ridge is alive with tension, and danger no longer waits in the distance, it is moving. Breathing, observing. Secrets long buried begin to surface in subtle, unsettling ways. A hand lingers on a doorframe, hesitating before entering a room that holds a truth someone wishes to keep hidden. A small note, half-burned, flutters to the floor as if revealing its secret too early. Even familiar paths twist in the mist, turning what once seemed safe into a maze of uncertainty. The ridge is no longer simply a home, it is a stage for collision. Past mistakes, hidden grudges, and unspoken desires all threatening to erupt simultaneously. Tension mounts with quiet, almost imperceptible signals. A horse pawing at the ground, a lantern swinging in a doorway. A shadow slipping into the trees suggests that the next moment could bring revelation or ruin. Faceless viewers, following only motion, sound, and the subtle hints of emotion, sense that the stakes are higher than ever. Trust is fragile, loyalty is tested, and the line between friend and foe blurs with every passing heartbeat. The ridge has become a living puzzle, and each character, each choice, each hidden glance is a piece that could shift the balance toward heartbreak, betrayal, or even tragedy. As the mist thickens and the ridge seems to close in on itself, the audience is left on edge, aware that the upcoming episode will force the residents and the viewers into confronting fears long avoided. Nothing here is ordinary anymore. Every shadow, every sound, every fleeting movement carries the weight of consequence. The ridge waits silent and watchful, ready to reveal its next secret end. The next tragedy is poised to strike with a force no one could have foreseen. Lightning cracks across the ridge, briefly illuminating the darkened houses, the twisting paths, and the forest that seems to close in on itself. The wind carries a strange, urgent rhythm, rattling shutters and tossing leaves like a warning. Faceless figures move quickly through this storm-tossed landscape, their hurried motions hinting at fear, secrecy, and desperation. Every step seems heavier than the last, weighed down by the knowledge that nothing in the ridge will ever be the same again. Shadows collide with shadows, creating shapes that look alive, as though the ridge itself is conspiring with the unseen forces that threaten the residents. Inside, hands tremble over candles, over letters, over objects that carry immense significance, tokens of loyalty, betrayal, or survival. A small wooden box is opened, revealing a secret that might change everything, but its contents are never shown. Outside, the forest rustles violently, and the sound of distant hooves cuts sharply through the night. Faceless viewers feel the tension rising with each sound. The ridge teeters on the edge of catastrophe. Even simple gestures, a door slamming, a hand reaching for a weapon, a lantern swung too fast, speak volumes about the fear and urgency gripping every corner of this world. The storm mirrors the emotional chaos within the characters. Love is tested, trust fractures, and alliances are pushed to their breaking points. The ridge is no longer just a backdrop. It has become a character itself, reacting, shifting, and watching as events unfold. A shadowed figure pauses on a hill, looking down at the village, unsure whether to intervene or retreat. Faceless hands clutch objects of protection, ropes, letters, key symbols of choices that carry consequences far beyond their immediate grasp. Every movement, every flicker of light, and every sound builds toward the inevitable moment of confrontation. As the rain begins to fall harder, a flickering lantern goes out in one house, leaving the room in the ridge momentarily swallowed by darkness. The silence that follows is deafening. It is a silence filled with anticipation, with dread, with the unspoken knowledge that the tragedy hinted at is not yet complete. Viewers are left on the edge, feeling the pulse of the ridge through storm, shadow, and secret. And then, as the screen fades to black, a final line lingers. Episode 2 will reveal what no one could see coming. Will the ridge survive? The call to action text emerges. Watch Outlander Season 8, Episode 2, only on Netflix. This ending section seals the preview. The storm is literal. The storm is metaphorical, and the ridge itself has become a crucible where fate, fear, and hidden truths collide. Every element, the wind, the shadows, the flickering lights, faceless tension works together to make viewers feel they cannot afford to miss what comes next. The tragedy is near, and the ridge waits, silent yet alive, ready to test courage, loyalty, and heart like never before. Asterisk, the ridge lies in uneasy silence, broken only by the occasional snap of a branch or the distant howl of a dog. Shadows stretch unnaturally long across the fields, shifting as if alive, hiding more than they reveal. Faceless figures slip through the fog, their movements urgent but cautious, as if every step could trigger disaster. The ridge, once familiar and safe, now feels alien, a place where every corner could conceal betrayal or tragedy. The air itself seems charged, carrying whispers of secrets that have waited too long to stay hidden. Inside homes and barns, hands tremble over objects of great importance, keys, letters, or weapons, symbols of choices that could change the lives of everyone on the ridge. A door creaks open slowly, revealing nothing but darkness, yet the tension is palpable. Even the smallest, most ordinary actions, a cup knocked over, a cloak dropped, a footstep paused, seem heavy with meaning. Each movement feels like a warning. Trust is fragile, and danger's closer than anyone suspects. In the forest bordering the ridge, movement stirs in the shadows. Someone or something's watching. The faceless perspective heightens the suspense. We see only glimpses of silhouettes, hands brushing against tree bark, boots pressing into wet leaves, but the intent remains unknown. The viewer senses that a revelation is near, a moment that could shatter the fragile peace that clings to the ridge like morning mist. Every object, every gesture, every whispered sound builds tension toward a confrontation that will leave no one untouched. As rain begins to fall lightly, flickering lanterns cast brief glimmers of light across abandoned paths and silent homes. The ridge itself feels like it is holding its breath, waiting for the storm of events to hit with full force. Faceless viewers feel the anxiety, the fear, and the anticipation of what is to come. Love, loyalty, and courage are all tested in ways that are unseen yet deeply felt. And then, just as the scene seems on the edge of chaos, the whisper of a secret something that should have stayed hidden drifts across the ridge, hinting that the tragedy to come will not spare anyone. And the next episode will reveal consequences far greater than anyone could imagine. Asterisk, the ridge is quiet. But the quiet is heavier than any storm. Fog coils around the trees, curling into shapes that seem almost alive. As though the land itself is aware of the approaching chaos. Lanterns sway in the dim light, casting flickering shadows across empty pathways. A single horse stirs in a stable, its anxious movements echoing the unease gripping the ridge. Faceless viewers are drawn into this tension, feeling the weight of anticipation as if danger could appear from any corner at any second. Inside the homes, hands linger over letters left unread, over objects never meant to be touched, over secrets that could unravel everything. The ridge has become a maze of fear and uncertainty, trust shattered. Alliances fragile and every decision more critical than the last. Faceless figures move silently, unseen but felt, shadows colliding, disappearing, reappearing, suggesting that betrayal is near, and safety is a memory slipping further away. The distant sky flashes with lightning, illuminating a fleeting moment of chaos, a door left ajar, a window broken, a figure paused mid-step in hesitation. These brief glimpses hint at conflicts that will explode in the next episode, leaving viewers on edge. The ridge is no longer just a place. It has become a crucible where courage, loyalty, and survival are tested to their limits. Every element, the wind, the shadows, the distant cries works together to pull the audience into the story without ever revealing a single face. Finally, the scene fades to black, leaving only a whisper of the ridge's secrets. The voiceover pierces the silence. Nothing will ever be the same, and the tragedy is only beginning. Text overlays appear. Watch Outlander Season 8, Episode 2, only on Netflix. The cliffhanger lingers in the mind. A promise of secrets revealed, hearts tested, and the ridge pushed to the edge of destruction. Viewers are left suspended, knowing that the next episode will plunge them deeper into suspense, mystery, and the emotional intensity of a world where shadows hide more than just darkness. They hide the truth. Asterisk, dark clouds rolling over the ridge. Empty fields, trees swaying in the wind, flickering candle in a dimly lit house. The ridge is silent, but the silence carries a warning. Shadows stretch across empty paths, and the wind whispers of secrets that can't stay hidden. Something has gone terribly wrong. Danger waits where least expected. Asterisk, smoke rising from farmlands, faceless hands packing, horses bolting, torn letters, shadowed arguments. Episode 1 left the ridge in chaos. Fires, secrets, and sudden departures tore through what was once familiar. Families scrambled, trust was tested, and the air grew heavy with whispers of betrayal. Even the quietest corners hid tension. Every gesture, every glance, every shadow hinted at the challenges yet to come. Visuals, empty dinner table, abandoned toys, shadowed forest paths. The ridge, once calm, now carries an undercurrent of fear. What seemed small smoke, missing letters, silenced arguments, became the first ripple in a storm that will not end.